So, I'm sitting at home, minding my business, drinking my water, and I'm still overhearing some things. It's been discovered that I can communicate with a brainwave machine. Um, I can hear, my hearing is extra sensitive, and the images, uh, I can project images onto a brainwave machine. I cannot tell you for sure what it looks like, but this is just based off of what the neighbors have described to me through conversations that I've had with just my thoughts alone. I have it's been about maybe a week, and I spent a good portion of the week not talking, just thinking. And I had very in depth conversations with the people who are responsible for the hack on my Apple devices, all the harassment at my work and at my home. Messing with like medical records is something that they talk about. Stealing my insurance, stealing my identity. They put a lock on my credit report. It's just a number of things that these people continue to discuss because they are trying to push me out of my apartment, and they are trying to make me homeless, make me lose my job so that I then lose my apartment and then become homeless. Some of the things that they've talked about in the past were hacking me out of my car. Um, Other things they said, the skinheads weren't going to take her Acura. They are going to take the WRX, but they couldn't say that. So they said the Acura, something like that. Just like, I don't even have an Acura. I posted that because I know people are stalking me. And posting that video helped me find out exactly who it is that's like up on it, right? The people who ask questions about that, those are number one prime suspect. People who posted a comment, the content of the comment, it's it's all information that I use to know who I should allow near me. And I have realized that about 700 of the 707 people that follow me are all people who are waiting to see me get destroyed by the people who are actively hacking me and giving me problems in my life. They say that everything that they're doing to me is something I've done to somebody, but not to the extent that they have done it to me. Everything they've done to me is 10 times worse than what I've done to someone else. So, or at least the way they describe it. Like, uh, I didn't do Instagram lives where I discuss people's personal lives. I put stories up with factual information and receipts, text messages, and I have discussed later on with another person that I wanted to do that to. What happens? It is I have issues. I know I have issues, and I'm working on them. So this is community psychiatry. Uh, had to change its name to Mind Path. The reason they changed their name, I still have not discovered yet. But usually, what's associated with a name change like that for a company like that is bad press. Bad press, a lawsuit, something like that happened that forced them to change their name. Um, in my in the last 6 months in my life, uh, Mind Path has involved themselves by not involved themselves, but it was a visit to Sherman Oaks Hospital ER where I asked for blood and urine tests because my neighbors had been discussing poisoning the food in my apartment, spraying all of my belongings with a substance. That caused me to go to the ER because walking through downtown LA, I got very disoriented. There was bums on the street telling me that my vagina smelled. At the Verizon store, people outside the store walking by were commenting on my smell. It's been a long road. But recently, with the discovery of what the brainwave machine can do, I am realizing more and more every day that I'm not crazy, that people have really been out to get me. And as crazy as it sounds, I have like records and proof of things that ordinarily would go smoothly without any issues. And every day I have problems with something. And I'm very tech savvy. There's no reason for this to be continuing. I know exactly who it is. I live next to a wireless store where all of my devices, the ones I believe to have been cloned, I think it's 4 devices, show up instead of in my apartment, they show up inside of the wireless store. So my signal's being replicated over there, or those are the clone devices. I'm not exactly sure. Still trying to figure it out. But the Find My app is very accurate when it is one device, and that device has not been accessed through some back door, whatever it is. Not only is it my upstairs neighbor, it's other tenants, several tenants in the building. There's several corporations involved. I was recently at the Apple store in Santa Monica, where it was heard from one of the employees' mouths. Skinheads were trying to teach her a lesson. They wanted to hack her. No. Sorry. Skinheads were trying to teach her a lesson. They wanted to show her not to fuck with the skinheads, something like that, not to mess with the skinheads, something like that. So 25 years, some of the things, I don't know if it's just because they've gone through all of my personal information that they're able to pull up names of people I went to high school with. They're just the things that are being said. It is, one, they've already gone through all my personal belongings. They've made notes on my life. If they've made notes on my life, have all of my personal information, what is it to stop them from stealing my ID? Nothing. They want me to move out. My ID's already been stolen. They haven't actually used it yet, to the best of my knowledge. But that's part of the reason they desire to make me homeless, because once they make me homeless, there's a whole nother person who becomes me. So I'm putting this out there on YouTube to let you know that I am the real Margaret Anthony, Margaret Claire Anthony. And should anything happen to my identity, I'm very, what do you call it, kind of anal about how I divulge my personal information. And this hack, they let me know that everything in my life is being monitored by a micro mesh camera net system, something like that. X-ray, something like that. It's all kinds of things that they've said. I don't really know what to believe, but based on their conversations, they are aware of things that I'm doing inside my apartment, and there are no visible cameras. Every now and then there's one I think I may be able to find. If I flash a flashlight, you can see a lens, or like the reflection of what I believe to be a lens. It could be a sequence or something. I'm going to check. But to the best of my knowledge, these cameras are extremely tiny, or it is something aside from a camera. It's some other kind of technology. They've monitored all my activities, and they comment on them actively. So it's beyond crazy. But some of the stuff they've been talking about is like, they're amazed at how many, first they said they thought I was a lesbian. And then they're like, as they're finding out, I've had sex with well over 100 people, and they're like, oh, wow. They're trying to tell me that I'm infected with a disease. I don't even know exactly which disease they're trying to tell me I'm infected with. But I think that a good percentage of people who have had a decent sex life, they've encountered an STD or two, right? Maybe not two, maybe not. Maybe they always use condoms. They always get lucky. But for the numbers of people that I've had sex with, having two STDs that were cured, it's not, I don't think that that's something to be like, whatever. And regardless of my medical history, that's nobody's business. So anybody who wants to involve themselves in that, feel free, because I don't care what people know about me. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I work out, maybe not as regularly as I would like to, but I really don't see anything wrong with the way I'm living my life. People call me smelly because of skinheads revenge, I call it. I was poisoned. The stuff they put in my food caused me to become more smelly than I normally would have. Since I put up security cameras in my apartment, I do not smell myself as much. I do not feel like I hear other people around town calling me smelly. Every now and then, maybe. But part of that comes from, I don't wear deodorant. I don't wear deodorant at all. So I'm perfectly fine with my body odor. And if people don't like it, they can fuck off. My teeth. Okay, let's talk about my teeth. I went to get my teeth fixed. my dentist, Nima, something like that, I overheard my upstairs neighbors mention his name. Now, that could be several reasons. They've hacked my medical records. But one of the things I think that it's related, when I went to my last dentist appointment with that dentist, and before he put this one on, he had to take the last temporary off. The temporary was glued in with permanent glue. The assistant admitted to me she used the wrong glue. When they put this temporary on, I was under the impression that since she knew she used the wrong glue last time, she was going to get it right this time. These teeth have not moved since September. They're not going to move because it is my belief that she used the permanent glue again. On top of that, while I was there for that visit, the dentist mentioned 3 things to me that stood out as not professional. The first was the mention of the comment, something about torture. He said, I have it written down somewhere and I can get the exact phrase that he used, but he had mentioned something about torture, something about being evil, and then after the dent puller, something about a headache. And those were all things like, the dent puller didn't work, by the way. It was like 3 or 4 good tugs, and then he had to get a saw and saw my teeth out. And in the process, there was when he was shaving down one of my teeth, I think it got really sensitive and he had to shoot me with more Novocaine. And when he shot me with Novocaine, I could feel the needle go through my face into, I believe it went into his hand. I don't know how far it went into his hand, but I definitely know that the needle went through my mouth out to the outside of my skin. And that's all I'm going to say for today. I just want to record this because I feel like each and every day, like I just paid my rent today, so their threats and the harassment have calmed down a little bit. But there's every day, I was just told, we're going to shoot you, some shit like that. And it's what they say, inadmissible. It's not directed at me. I'm in my apartment. It's stuff I overhear from the hallways. But it is directed at me because they have been harassing me since September and before, possibly before. The harassment wasn't like this. Before, in September, it was the cyber hack. Harassment didn't start until I returned to my apartment after medical leave for my mental health. The harassment started, I want to say, late October, November. And then it just, at work, fucking nigger. And I connected the voice from my office, who is an actual employee at the firm that I work for. That same voice is in my apartment building yelling at me. Weekends, I think it's like Saturdays or something, Saturday morning, it's a lot of yelling. And just certain days I can hear it. But that is what connects this from my apartment back to my work. I believe it's entrapment. It's different, hate groups. It's high school kids. It's televised, what I believe, on social media, because every single employee, I want to say every employee on the 31st floor has made some kind of reference to the comment ice cold. That's what I call it, Operation Ice Cold, right? Including the HR manager, and other employees. I just would never expect behavior like this from a law firm. And so tying it together with the single employee from my work that is also at my home, that kind of like seals the deal for me. And I know that the hack is orchestrated by people at my work. Because if my work wasn't involved, there'd be no reason for every employee on that floor to know the contents of my storage, or that I make my own underwear, or just certain things. There's no reason for people to know that, like, my personal life, insight into my personal life, right? All right.